Welcome back to the 2016 Edexcel IGCSE walkthrough. We're now up to Activity 2, and Activity 2 looks at database software, which of course we are going to use Access. Now, Martin has created a database to store rental details for the company. Company details are stored in the contact table, and TaskDB1 asks us to open the our 2000 database, which I've just done so, and I'm going to just enable content there. That just saves me problems if when I'm doing the work. It also tells me to open the contact table, so I'm going to open that now, and I have my contact table, and I'm going to go to the design view, so view and design there, and this shows me my design view. I'm going to click that to the side because if I show you the exam paper, it shows me the exact same design, and it should match. It says this is the structure. We've got a primary key, and a primary key is unique value to each record. It's unique. And then we've got all the other fields. We've got title, first day, last day, and so on. And these are the types of data you can include in that field. So all of them are text, which means you can have numbers, text, and symbols. Mobile number, of course, is text. Why is it not a number? Well, what does it start with? It can start with a 0. You can't have a number started with a 0. It can have a symbol in it, which means it cannot be a number. Otherwise, it might think it's some sort of formula. The only one that's different is date, time. So we've looked at some of the data types here, and we've got underneath here, we've got the length, how long the fields are going to be. So I'm going to go back to field here. I'm going to go back to view and datasheet view, where I'll see all the data. Okay? And first of all, it tells us to open a new document using word processing software and set it to landscape. So I need to open up a Word document. I need to open up a new Word document, and I need to go page layout, orientation, and landscape. So I'm setting this to landscape because eventually I'm going to be copying my table into here and it will fit. It tells us to enter TaskDB1 and our name in the footer. So insert and footer, and I'm going to go footer. In the left, I'm going to put TaskDB1. In the center, I'm going to delete because I don't need that. And in the right, I am going to write my name, my full name, okay, so you can see it. And I'll save this as file, save as, browse, and save it as TaskDB1. Like so. And I will minimize that. Now, the first thing it's asked you to do, it says Martin wants you to add a new contact to the contact table. Add these details to the contact table. So, going down the bottom, you'll see a star. That means you can enter the new record. So the first one is JSA32, Mr. Then we put the name, James Sandalwood. And it says here, 13 Stane Street. Moving along, it says Clark Munnock and AF49CN. And our phone number is 07700900123. He's a male, but of course we can only put M or F, so I need to put M. And the date of birth, be very careful. If it goes date, month, year, that's perfect. If it goes month, date, year, you'll need to start it. You'll have to put 03/11/1987. In this case, it goes date, month, year. So that's easy. 11/03/1987. Then it says sort the contact table in ascending order of last name. So I'm going to make this bigger. Move across. And choose the last name, the arrow next to the last name, A to Z. Select the whole table, move between the column the column edges. So you've got this line and 2 arrows, and double click so we can see all the data. It's not truncated. Control C and paste that into Word. And if you find it goes on to more than one page, just click on the top corner and just go home, and we make this smaller so it all fits in there, because we want to make sure it fits on one page. It tells us basically there, copy and paste, make sure it's all displayed on one size of A4, and then resave and print. Well, that's easy, just Control S and then Control P, and that's that done. I'm going to close that. Now, I'm going to close this and save. Next, open a new document using word processing software. So again, we need to open a new Word document and enter task DB2 and your name in the footer. Okay, so I go Insert and Footer and DB2, task DB2 in the footer, and delete the middle one and put our name on the left. And we'll save this as task DB2. Like so. Now the first thing it tells us is that Martin wants a list of customers who were born before the 1st of May 1951. He wants all the fields displayed, and he wants you to create a query or search on the contact table to find this information. So we go create, query design, and we're going to add the contact table, and I believe it wants us all the fields. Yes, it does. So I'm going to enter all the fields. So just double click on all the fields like so. Now, going back, it tells us we want born before the 1st of May 1951. So we go to view, and birth date is in birth date field. That's obvious. We go back to design, and we move along to the birth date field underneath in the criteria, where I put less than 1st 05/1951. Click off that, view, and we should see all those born before the year 1951, 1st of May. Click on the top, just make sure it's not truncated, so make the columns bigger, and display the results, copy and paste the search into task DB2. It does say save this query as DB2A. So I need to right click, save DB2A, save, select the table and copy it and paste into our Word document. Oh my God, that is too big. We need to make this query a lot smaller. So select the query, we go to home, and we're just going to make the font size smaller. So we decrease the font size, and eventually it makes it a bit more smarter, which is what the examiner wants. You want them to basically be able to mark it easily without any problems. Okay, without having to search for your work, you want them to be able to, you want to present it to them very clearly. Going through, I'm going to close this, so right click and close, and we will then do the next one. So it says here, open the cottage table. Well, I'm not going to open it, but it does say Martin wants a list of cottages with 4 bedrooms and a star rating of greater than 3. It says shows only the fields cottage name, sleep, star rating, and daily rate. So in this order. So we need to go to create, query, design again. And we're going to have to select the contact table, and we need to then enter some data. So I need cottage name, sleeps, star rating, daily rate. So I don't need bedrooms and I don't need code. So, but when I view this, the one that I can do star rating greater than 3. Okay, that's good. But I need the bedroom one to be able to search it. So I'm going to double click on bedrooms but I'm going to hide that field. That means that it will not show in my query, but I am going to search it. So I'm going to search for 4 bedrooms. So click on 4 here, and then I'll go to view, and I will see all those at 4 bedrooms with a star rating of greater than 3, which is fantastic. Going back, do I need to sort it? No, I just display it, copy and paste the result into task DB2. I save this query as DB2B. So back we go. Right click, save. DB2B, OK. And I'm going to click on the corner, make these columns bigger, copy and paste. And just make this a bit smaller because it's a bit too big. Want it to be smart. Okay. There we are. I like that. That's better. You want it smart. Resave it. It says, make sure the results from this task are easy to read. That's why I make them smaller. And of course, the columns are wide enough. Because you want it presentable to your examiner. You may not get marked on presentation, but it's easier for the examiner to read, and that's what you need to think about. He will have 100, 200 examination scripts to mark, and if it's easier to read, you're more likely to get the marks. If it's a bit, if it's got a question. So resave it, and then of course file and print. I'm going to close that one. Now we go to the next one here. Open a new document using word processing software. So once again, I need to create a Word file, and I will have to put on here my candidate details and the name of the task again. So insert footer once again into the bottom. And it says here, name this as task DB3 with your name in the footer. So task DB3. Delete the middle one, and I'm going to put my name and candidate details on the left, like so. Now I'm going to save this as task DB3. I've lost where the desktop is. There we are, I found it. So task DB3, like so. Perfect. And we go back. So, lost my exam paper. There we are. Database is 3 linked tables. The contact table is linked to the rental table. The cottage table is linked to the rental table. Let's show you the relationships here. So database tools, relationships, and we can see the contact ID is linked to the contact ID in the rental, and the code cottage ID is linked to the cottage ID in the rental. These with the keys are the primary keys. They are the unique. They are unique for each record in those tables. And we have one field which is connected to the contact table, which is the foreign key. You can't put a value in these 2 fields, without it being in here. Just moving back, it does ask us to display the relationships, make sure the fields are all visible, and take a screenshot. So I'm just going to make that bigger, use the snipping tool, and we're going to select the data and paste that into Word like so. Just make that a bit smaller so it's visible. Going back, and over here, where is it? It says in task DB3, identify the primary key in one of the relationships. So that's fairly simple. Primary key are the ones with the keys here. Foreign keys are the ones where it's linked to. So insert, and we'll just get a bubble here, and we'll point this out. So these are the primary keys here. So I'm going to say the primary key like so. And if you want to, let's just copy and paste it so you can see each one here. That's the primary key, and that's the primary key there. Okay, so you can visibly see they are the primary keys. One thing you may want to do in the, just to make sure, to make it clear, just write contact ID in here, or the name of the field. So it does make it a lot more easier to know. So you write the names of the fields which are the primary key. So for example, this was primary key, contact ID. Next one, it says, in document DB3, explain why one-to-many relationships used between the cottage and the rental. So cottage and rental. Basically, there is a relationship between contact and, is it contact or cottage? Cottage. Cottage and rental, because each cottage is unique and many rentals can, or many cottages can have, sorry, and each cottage can have many rentals. Okay? And then we go back and it tells us do not print, but we have to save, so let's save that. Martin wants a list of customers who have rented cottages with a rental date in 2016. The list should only show these fields, and we have to do a query here. So I'm going to just right click and close, and it will say save. Create a query design and add them all, because this time we're going to have to add them all. I'm going to show all the fields because I think we have to show the design of this. It tells us to have cottage name, rental date, last name, first name, mob number, rental period, daily rate. Here we go. And we're looking for those in July 2016. So rental period, so I can say between 01/07/2016 and 31/07/2016. Click off it and we'll make this bigger, like so. And sorted in ascending order of rental date within ascending order of cottage name. So cottage comes first, which is good, because this means this will come first, then this one. And then it says display this querying, display it, but you have to display it in the design view and take a screenshot of the design view. So I'll see if it works. No, it doesn't. Just checking here. January, February, March, April, May, June, July 7th. Rental period. I think I've got that in the wrong one, so I'm going to cut that. Go back to view. Rental period is a number. Rental date is what I want. There. Okay. View. Yes, that works better. Okay, I made a mistake there. Always check it before you do anything. And then you need to take a screenshot. So we select it, like so, and we paste that into Word. Make sure the field that you've got your criteria is actually visible. You see all, because otherwise you'd lose your marks there. And it says save and print, so we just Control S and print. And in the final task of DB4, final task in Adaptivity2, we need to produce a report, use the results of that query. And it has to have a suitable title, so we know all the rented cottages in July, and having these fields. So I'm going to just minimize this and close this one here, save. DB3 DB3A, I think it is. No, DB3B, because the first was DB3A. Select the query, create report. And I've got the query. If I need to select the right one. We want cottage name, rental date, last name. So good. Mom number, daily rate. I don't need to group it. I don't need to do this. Sorting it. Nothing there. It does say landscape though, so I need it in landscape. And it needs to be, all the headings need to be visible as well. So I need to go there, landscape. And cottages rented in July 2016. Let's say modify first. That's so. I need to put my footer in here, so I'll go to label. Always choose this one for the label, not the text one. And I'm going to put task db4 and my name. So, okay, and we'll go view and layout view, just make sure we can see all the data. Possibly not, I don't like that. Click on the first one, hold down control, click on the second, just make that smaller. Same with this one. Click on the first, hold down control, oops, like that. I'll just make this smaller like so. Click on the first, hold down control, make it bigger. Like there. And we just make sure we change the size. Like so. Just make them, oops. Like there. And of course you control S that. And you just print it, control and P, and it will print with your name on the footer. And that is Activity 2. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video for Activity 3.